Eyes down for a Good afternoon, folks. Monday. Only trouble is it's 4:30 because we've done a final poo run, took 2 deep freezes in to the CA site, and I had my diabetes review this morning, which was pretty good. So it's been a rather empty day. I've done nothing at the workshop. I've just got here to get the camping gear for my dear daughter, who's going to the Green Man Festival on I think this coming weekend actually. So we've got nothing done to the bench, but it's all to do tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to come through early, stick 2 coats of varnish on the floors at the house, and then straight back to the workshop to start doing workshop stuff again. Isn't that wonderful? I feel so good about it. I'm heartily sick of doing the house. Right, see you all tomorrow. Let's get rid of the stuff we don't use anymore. Bye now. So folks, here I am, looking a bit like a bespectacled Doc Brown from Back to the Future with this wonderful white hair that used to be brown. Never mind, it's 12:40 Tuesday. I've just finished putting a final coat of varnish on the downstairs floor of the house, which means I've got one upstairs floor which is half the size to varnish tomorrow, and then I'm officially back in the workshop. But now, for the rest of today, I'm back in the workshop anyway. So let's crack on with this bench. Okay folks, while you get over the shock of seeing me in front of the camera as opposed to behind it, now maybe you can see why I spend most of my time behind it. So what we've got here, I've just noticed, is the hang line at this end is welded right to the very corner of the bench, and at this end it's lapped virtually over the bench. So this hang line has been put on to fit to the wall after the bench has been fitted. So the first thing I'm going to do is to just grind these welds off, take the hang line off, move that corner, which is standing out 2 inches, back to the wall, and then after I've fitted the bench I shall refit the hang line, which makes a lot more sense, I think. Then we can get it right back to the wall, and also have a piece of hang line that runs down the wall. It's going to have to be packed up. That's about level. In fact, that's pretty much bloody level. There's a bit of a belly in the bench, but we're not setting up a surface plate when all's said and done. That's close enough. Right, so we're going to need packers under that end, down there, and we're going to need some packers under the legs. Although the hang line is on the floor, the legs are not on the floor. So I might just bang some metal wedges under there just to support them, and then we can bolt it down. And I think I can probably, with a bit of finagling, get 4 holes drilled and 4 roll bolts or plugs or something in there, and get it bolted down. But we need, this floor does slope. This floor has always sloped because it was a garage originally. It sloped towards the door, so that water drained away. So we're looking about an inch up there. Or is that? Yeah, that's about inch box section, isn't it? So we're looking at inch at the outer end, maybe a bit more and a bit less at the back. Right, let's get the grinder out and grind this hang line off. And so on, and so forth. Popped up. Another one there. Yes, another one there. And another one there. If I didn't know better, I would say this was gas welding, because it's soft and it's very small beads, so it's not electric, and I don't think it's MIG, it certainly won't be TIG. So. Another one there. Another one. Awkward. Awkward. Can't get in like that. Can I get in like that? Yes, I can. Now that, with a bit of luck, should do it. So, let's put it away, get a shifting key and see if we can't snap it off. She's going. I think she's going. Oh yeah. Job's a good one. Onward. Right, I've realised something here. The bench itself, the actual construction, is slightly twisted because it's been made to fit the floor and the wall in Ken's old shed, so it doesn't pay to pack it at that end. At this end it needs a packer underneath it and screwing down, and virtually the same at this end. So we've got it right into the corner now and right up to the wall. So I'm happy with that, and I don't think we need really to put that angle iron back on. Oh yes we do, because we've got a little gap now and stuff will disappear. So we'll put something on, maybe we won't put the angle iron on, but we'll put something on. Right, it's packers and drill time. I wonder if I can get a drill into that corner. I think I probably can. Certainly I'll mark it and then maybe drag it out and drill it. So if I mark all the holes, and then we'll put some packers underneath and bolt it down. I want it bolted, and it maybe seems a bit excessive bolting it down, but I want it bolted down because I want to put a leg vise on this end. If I want to put a leg vise on this end, I want it fixed good and proper, so that I can put a piece of metal in the leg vise and swirl at it with the big hammer. Right, onward. So many leg vices, so little time. I think I'll go for this blue one, because apart from how else, I think it's probably about brand new. It doesn't look like the jaws have been used at all, and it looked, I mean, when I got it about 30 years ago, it was a damn sight more new looking than it is now, but I think that's the one I'm going to go for. Put it on that corner, you can spin the thing round and it doesn't hit on the wall, which I was worried about, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, drill and some packers. So folks, clear his throat, the bench is fixed down. It stands off the ground a little bit at the front, not quite half an inch, but it's clamped down onto some steel, the same at the other end, so she's bolted down. I spared you the agony of drilling the holes and getting the roll plugs in and etc, but we've done it. Now, you know I like repairing things. Well, sometimes I get carried away and I repair things that really aren't worth repairing. Now, my brother-in-law John used to run a delivery company, and one of the places he delivered to was a place somewhere in the mountain area that imported these in all different shapes and sizes. And outside their depot, if you like, there was a huge pile of rejects and ones that didn't work properly, that they had to pay to dispose of. They had to pay to have the council take them away. So John said, I'll take them away for nothing. And he did. Thousands of them. And he looked at them, and basically they're very simple and they're very easy to repair. And so he set to and repaired them, and then he sold them. Thousands of them. And I just picked this one up. It was up at the house, up at Ratton Row, and I chucked it in the corner and I thought, I wonder if it works. And of course it didn't. So I had to make it work, didn't I? Basically there's a little air pump, bog standard vibratory air pump, a light bulb and a rotating colour disc which changes colours as it goes around. Now, it should have more fish in it than that. I can only find that one. I've got some more somewhere, but I don't know where. I've put SpongeBob in there, and he works really well, because when you turn the power off, he ascends, but when you turn it back on, down he goes. There's a strange phenomenon. Isn't that ridiculous? But now it's working perfectly. I can rest easy. I've just looked around for the other fish. I know I put them in my pocket and I carried them in here, but I can't find out where I've put them. They'll turn up. I just wonder if my daughter would be interested in this. I might just take a picture and send her a little message. Well folks, after a quick video message to my dear daughter, she wants it. She can't resist anything that's got SpongeBob in it. So I'm going to take it home tonight. I've just, the fish on the top is unconnected. It's a bathroom ornament, but I've I thought it went rather well with it, so I've just popped a screw through it to hold it into the cap. There we go. The other fish will turn up. I've got them laying around somewhere. I just can't put my hand on them. Never mind. See, he ascends. How good is that? And it's looking better already. The welder, disappointingly, only goes under there and only goes under that far, but no matter, because that's coming out soon to get repaired, or at least new cables fitted to it and tested. I have tested it with a tester and it seems to be all there, but I've got electrodes there, so why not? I used to do a lot of stick welding. It's quick, it's dirty and it's strong. So, lots of stuff stored under there. Welding helmets out the way. Plasma cutter out the way. It's amazing what you can store under there. Welders uncovered for the first time, and it's looking much better and much more organised. I want a seat here. I want a vice mounting, which is the next job. The vice and the leg vice. Let's get those on. Looky here folks, a new bench, and already I've made a mess on it. Right, well it's a lot tidier in here, but it's got a long way to go yet, and we've got a lot of stuff to hide out the way, but it's much better than it was. I've got this vice bolted on, which will now be a welding vice and general purpose. What I was thinking about doing was a short piece of welding cable put to a bolt on here with a spare connector on it, so I can just earth my bench on whichever welder I'm using. I may even have a piece of cable long enough to do it. So there you go. So that's another thing to do. But here we have a leg vise in its constituent parts. Very simple. And what I'm going to do next is give it a good wire brushing off and maybe a coat of paint. But if you look at those jaws, look at those jaws. I was right, this vice has never been used. It's brand new, never been used. This came from, I'm pretty sure it came from the same place that the forge came from a school. And it's been sat in the store somewhere and it's never been used. Look at the thread, it's like brand new. So, this is all going to get a nice brighten up, a coat of paint and go on there. But that's going to happen tomorrow, because it's 4:50 and time I wasn't here. I've just been trying to get in touch with my mate Andy Beach, Antique Andy, who is well, not under the knife today, but he's got to have a intravenous angiogram. In other words, they want to look at his heart. So let's hope he's okay, and I'll let you know in due course. But with a vice fixed, we've advanced to tech level. We've got a welding bench and we'll no longer have to struggle in there. I might even be able to use this for what it's intended. It's actually a brazing hearth. And it works. It works beautifully. But God, it gets hot. It's almost so hot you need to use it outside. Never mind. Right, time to put my hat on. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Hi folks. Wednesday, just after 11. I've just put the last coat of wax on the upstairs floor, and I'm back in the workshop, and thank goodness for that, because it is actually very nice and cool in here. But outside it's like the Mediterranean, like the south of France, hot. So I've shut the door and I've left it shut because it keeps the heat out. Oh, it's so lovely in here. Right, vice. I've got many vices, only some of them are legs. Let's get it in the vice and get it cleaned up. Here we go folks. You will note that I'm using the safety low-speed grinder as opposed to the one that nearly took me knee off. And so on. 4LV2. What does that say? JB 4LV2. And so on ad nauseam. So I'll bring you back when all this lot's cleaned up, because it's awfully boring to watch. It's awfully boring to do, actually. There we are, folks. All cleaned up and ready for reassembly. I don't think there's any point in painting this because it's just going to end up like that very quickly. So it's got plenty of paint on it. I might give it a coat of linseed oil just to stop it rusting, although nothing rusts in here. I must say that this workshop is so bone dry that nothing ever seems to go rusty in here. Wonderful. Right, let's get it clapped together and fitted to the bench. It's a rapid-ore interlude. Just cutting a piece of tube to weld to the angle iron at the bottom of the bench for the leg of the leg vise to drop into. And there she goes. Oh. Auto stop. Right, folks, there we are. Vise reassembled and looking knobby. Piece of pipe set on there. Just got to get the sparky out and tag it on. And then we can mark up and drill the bench. Let's be on. And there we are, folks. One leg vise fitted, bolted down. Now under here there's a channel iron, and it comes out right to where those bolts are, and I just caught the edge of it with one of the bolts. So what I've done is instead of trying to put bolts through from underneath, I've put 2 hook bolts on, and I've hooked them over the edge of the channel iron, and that's worked really well. But that is really rigid now, and dropped into that tube, and look, very good indeed. And I've just taken the rust off the top of the jorts. There we go. Right, on to the next job. But first I think we'll have a tidy up, because as usual I've made a mess on the bench. Langtoff rush hour, 5 o'clock. Right, there it is then. All nicely sorted out, bolted to the ground, leg vise up, welding vise up, no more struggling in there. And I can put my chair there when I'm doing TIG and when I'm doing bits and pieces for Andy. So Andy's angiogram went okay apparently. I texted him and he said yeah it's okay, I'll let you know when I come and see you. So there you go. Right folks, that's Wednesday done. I'll see you all tomorrow. Keith's just been down to do some welding, well, for me to do some welding for him, which is why that's plugged in. Did I turn the gas off again? Yes I did. Right, tidy. Tomorrow we attack this heap of wood and get rid of that. So I'll see you all then. Bye now. Hi folks, Thursday, and the big clear up is beginning to bite. I've decided that all that bloody Conti board, apart from that, is going out. Right, and I'm going to keep all that, maybe, but the rest is going. Right, all this that is saved here now is ordinary timber, including bits of oak and bits of mahogany and bits of nice wood, but they're going to go in the luton. But I've got to clear the luton, which means getting rid of all my scrap. So that's what I'm going to be on with tomorrow. But today I'm going to carry on doing this. There isn't a great deal to film and there isn't a great deal of interest, but I am getting there. I am making progress. It is very hot. It must be over, I mean it's well over 70 degrees outside, but it must be 70 degrees in here. So I'm drinking a lot and I'm just taking it steady, but I am getting somewhere. Right folks, this Thursday evening is upon us. I have made great strides. We've got a clear area and even the workshop is beginning to clear. But tomorrow I'm going to process a load of scrap and take it in, because getting rid of that will open up the outside Luton store to more stuff that's being sold. Here's a little job, a little blacksmithing job for a new project. This was the old wine rack, which went in the middle of, it was a little space in between 2 kitchen units that happened to be there if I fitted them exactly to the length of wall. So I thought, right, I'll put a wine rack in there. So I knocked that together in no time, as you can see, and it was there ever since. However, now that space is not there anymore, but there is a space at the end, on the end of the kitchen unit, very much like that. So what I want to make out of steel is something that will screw to the end of the kitchen unit that will hold those as wine racks. Right, something in metal, so I'll have to sketch something out in my usual fashion. Right, that's it for Thursday, folks. Look at that vice, isn't it? It is. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Good day, folks. It's extremely hot here, and that is a load of scrap. Copper, brass, lead, etc, etc, which I've sorted out of the luton to make more room in the luton so that I can get some of the junk out of the workshop that I want to keep, but I don't want in the workshop, stored properly in there. It's so hot. And there we are, folks. Little scrap excursion, very profitable morning. Right, back onto the big tidy up. And here it is, folks, the Krypton motoscope. Oh, look. Unfortunately, I've nothing to test it on, because I mean, if I could get I used to have a distributor wired up, rigged up to a motor that I used to use for testing something, but I can't remember what it was. All you would need is a coil, a distributor, and a set of points and 4 spark plugs. But it looks to me pretty much like it's all working. I've never had any problems with it. And as you turn the switch, it does all the correct movements on the gun, so I'm assuming it's working. But there you go. What do you ask for them nowadays? They cost thousands. I was looking at one the other day, and the bloke said I've just given it to the local classic car man, because he was wanting one. He said I paid 3,000 quid for it. There you are. Anyway, I'm cleaning it up for sale. So I've taken my scrap, I've cleared out the shed, I've got these 2 red cabinets on the Facebook, and I've had somebody after them already, so there you go. So with any luck they might go. Right, folks, that's it for this week. We've made strides. There's more to make next week. I still need to do something with this wood, although I have now cleared space. Now that all the scrap's gone, I've got much more room in here. So I think I'll get that wood into here, and I think it's about time we had some even more vicious throwing out of stuff, because somebody's going to have to clear it, aren't they? And it'd rather be me while I'm alive and get the money out of it than somebody after I've gone. Aren't I a maudlin beggar? Right, there you go. Where's all the scrap men gone? I used to have people driving up my drive saying, oh, have you got any scrap, mate? Got any scrap, mate? So I put a pile outside that's obviously scrap, and nobody turns up for months. Right, thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the likes I've been sent, and thank you for the comments. And I'm set up next week. I'm going to do that, make that wine rack next week. I've had some ideas, and I think we've advanced to tech level. So, see you all next week. Bye, folks.